I see the part on the relationship between the marina and the clients, and how information is spread, because now we feel we need to inform them every day. So, and in the future, probably we will have platforms where at all times they have all the information. Not only the weather, which we all follow, but anything happening around them, events, takeaway, restaurants, bio-agriculture that can bring the groceries to their boats. Things like that will develop a lot.
Pier presents the Future of the Industry series. This time we are interviewing Martinho Fortunato, CEO and President of the Board of Marlagos. Pier is a maritime industry technology startup focusing on sustainable solutions to make sailing more accessible and enable boaters to get everywhere easier.
Hey, Martinho, great to meet you.
Hi, great to meet you, Shlomi.
So I heard a lot about you. I know that you've been working in the industry for quite some time. How did you first start your involvement in the maritime industry?
Yeah, this was since I was a kid, I was sailing a lot, and I was competing and doing international regattas. So for me, as all my free time and my sport was for all my life was sailing. I didn't study on this area of business. I'm an agronomist engineer, and then I did an MBA and several post-graduation courses related to tourism. So the marina where I'm the CEO at the moment was being developed by the family. And after I've worked outside the family group, I was invited to join the group and started working here. This was 20 years ago. So basically, I didn't have any background on how to manage a marina. I had the user side of it, not the management side. So I had to learn a lot. I did the Advanced Marina Management course in the UK, and I was certified as a Marina Manager at that time. And that's how I started. I started also trying to participate on many conferences and international events with other industry peers. This is how I started to get involved internationally as well and learn from the others.
So it seems like from a very young age you were involved in the sea industry, and you kind of just kept on climbing the ranks. Right now you're also chairman of the Marina Group of ICOMIA?
Yes, that's right. The sea is my passion. I love the ocean. Whenever I have free time, I'm on the water. So now I'm like arrested, not being able to go to the sea.
So what are you doing to pass your time right now?
I pass most of the time at home because we are locked down in Portugal as well. And but every other day I have to come to the office as well to deal with all the present situation. And we also have a hotel in the marina. We have all the commercial areas. We have a lot of companies that live from us, the marina. So I'm dealing with all the stresses that I think most of the companies have at the moment.
So everybody's going through a lot of stress right now. The situation is, it's a global crisis, but what type of steps are you doing both in the marina, at the hotel, and also on an international level with the organization to kind of prepare the return of the industry, or to kind of expedite the process of what the next step should be once things return to being normal again?
Yes, first of all, locally on our marina, we had to close the hotel because we had so many cancellations for the next few months that we decided to close. The Portuguese government issued a number of grants and measures to help companies. We've took one which is a simplified layoff where the staff can be at home and part of the salary is paid by the government, part by us. So we have 45 staff on layoff. All the commercial areas are closed, and we've issued a number of measures to help them for their comeback. So the government also gave a few rents for commercial rents, but most of them was to delay payments. So we decided we should go above that and help them go through this time, because most of them are small and medium enterprises. So we decided to not charge them rent for a couple of months, and also help them with a lower rent for the next months until the end of the year. In the marina, we have to keep our operations because we have close to 90% occupancy at the moment, and about 50% of those are foreigners, and many of them they live on their boats and they are here. So we don't have any visitors, no boats coming in or out, but we have to maintain all our services. We have the showers, we have the reception, we have to do all the cleaning, and guarantee that safety and all the services are in place, basically. We've changed a bit the way we were working. So we are trying to communicate much more with the clients remotely, so that they don't have to come to the reception. Every morning on our VHF channel, we issue information about the present situation of the country and how the disease is developing and what measures are being taken, so that everyone is well informed of what is being done and what we are doing. So this is more or less what we are doing here locally in our marina. As an industry, I think we've learned that, and that this is a lesson for all the world, we need to be close together and more unified and more solidar. I think for this disease, we've seen that there are no borders in the world. And so we also should behave like that as an industry. So we are having meetings, I think once or twice a week. We have a forum where we are all informing of any updates in our countries. So if we need to know what's being done in any country of the world, we have easy access to that information. We have it online all the time. And we've decided last week or the week before, we've decided to start a new work at the ICOMIA Marinas group, which is what shall we do for the comeback? This is for us to focus on something positive. There's not much we can change in the present situation. We are not in control. So we should focus on the day that the lockdown is open, how we will operate our marinas, how we will adapt to the new regulations that will come regarding hygiene and things like that, how we will have events in our marina. I don't think on the next year or so we won't have big events in the marinas. We cannot gather too much people. How do we teach our clients and tell them how they can use their boats and how they should use their boats to be safe? So we are working on things like that. We want to create guidelines for the industry that can be used all over. At the same time, we are also working on the World Marina Conference that is due to happen in October this year in Dubai. At the moment, we didn't take the decision to postpone it. So we are still working on the subjects and on the speakers and on the program. But we will have to take a decision, I think, until the end of June, probably, whether we will postpone the conference or not. At the moment, we feel most of the subjects of the talks we are going to have will be adapted, at least to focus a bit as well on this pandemic situation we have, which will affect the industry for sure.
Seems like the timing might be perfect for that industry. If for the conference, if it should happen in October, where God willing, we'll be after everything, and then it will be a really interesting opportunity for people, for experts, to kind of share their insights about the future of the industry post the Corona crisis, and what steps and what measures can we take as industry leaders in order to to be better prepared for a situation like this if it should happen again?
Yes and no. I think one of the problems that we are so close to the situation that we don't have much information on how we will get out of this crisis. But as I said, we are gathering a lot of information. I think it's very important that we now collect as much information as we can, so that when we start getting out of this, we can see the results and we can see which countries took the best measures and how we should behave on situations like this in the future.
So what type of data are you currently collecting from different countries about how they're reacting to the current situation, or what are you looking for mainly?
We're looking for most of the measures that were taken by the governments, how fast they did the lockdown, how fast they closed companies, if they closed everything or not everything, what measures to help the companies they took, what tax incentives were taken, things like that, basically to see. And it's also important that we gather information from our industry, not exactly the marinas, but the boat builders, the shipyards, and things like that, because that will also affect the marinas in the future.
Are there particular countries that you saw were doing a really good job in helping the maritime industry?
Not that we can see now. We see that some countries completely forbidden boating activities. Others, they let it open, like USA. They let it boating as an activity that they thought it was isolated and not a danger. And it is not. I feel it is not. But I think the users did not respect the measures they should have, and they were anchoring and drafting together and having parties on the beach. And so in the end, they had to close the activity completely. But there are countries where they have it under control. They did not close the activity completely, and I think those will be better than others. This is my own opinion, because if you close completely the country and the economic activities, then it will be tough to recover from all the damage.
I agree 100%. What type of steps are maritime industry leaders advocating right now to ensure a quicker return for boating activities? Are you talking to government officials, different companies? How can you ensure that the boating industry will return quickly?
Well, first of all, I think every country, through their own nautical associations or marina associations, are talking with their governments, trying to help them and inform them what the situation is of the sector in their countries, and try to influence in some way their decisions. I think on a European level, we are doing the same, and at global level, everyone is doing the same. I think the most important thing is how we tell them and show them, because today I think governments have so many urgent issues to deal with and so many difficulties, and all of them are probably more important than boating for them. They have health issues, they have food issues, they have security issues, they have so many other things to deal with that boating is not a priority. Tourism is probably not a priority at the moment. It will be in a few months, we hope. But what we have to tell them and show them is how this activity is important, not only for the economy, but for the health of the population, because it's an active sport. And And if the same family that is locked at home is the same family that will use the boat, will go alone, respect a number of rules, it is an activity that can be done even if we don't have a vaccine or a solution for the virus. It's something that can be done with a certain rules without having risks of the disease spreading through different groups or different families. So one thing that is being done is we are developing papers where we can show them that with this number of rules, boating will be an activity that can be done immediately after the lockdown starts to be removed. Because I believe that this will not be in one day. Governments will not open the countries and open all the activities at the same time. They will prioritize, and they will say, well, these offices and these companies can open, the border can be open to these flights from this country and from that one. So this will be a gradual thing, and we want to be on the front line telling them, well, boating can be open right away because we have these rules that we are instructing all the boaters, and we want them to go to the sea and use boating as a healthy activity that is good for your head, for your body, and it will not harm the present situation.
I spoke to another industry leader who said that for the reasons that you mentioned, the maritime industry should return to activity before the aviation industry because of like health issues, and there's not that much of a danger. So they should enable the access to marinas and to boats before they allow access to public planes. Is that something you agree?
Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. I'm pretty sure that will happen. At least in Portugal, I will see them releasing the lockdown partially in 1 month's time, but they will not open the borders yet because we have borders with Spain, and Spain is being hit very hard. So they will probably authorize boating locally. They will tell you you cannot move from your area to a different city. You can only use your boat locally. They will I am almost sure they will do it.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that during this time you're planning for the future. You have an opportunity to reassess your strategy, priorities for the marina, the hotel, but also on an international level. So what type of solutions are you currently looking to advocate and promote to ensure a sustainable future for the industry?
Well, I think a lot of things will change in the marina business. One thing for sure will be communication between you and your customers, which is something we always delayed because I always felt that tourism is an industry that leaves a lot from the public contact. You like to go to the hotel and have a receptionist greeting you. You want to talk with the staff. In a marina, it's the same. We like to know the name of our guests. We like that the receptionists know very well all our guests. But I think in the future, we will use much more the platforms that already exist, like this interview we're having on Zoom. Things like this will be more and more used. So I see many of technology companies coming into tourism to develop new apps or new platforms where communication will flow much better with your clients, so that people won't cross so much. And I think this will happen, considering that we won't have a solution, a vaccine, or whatever will come to this disease. I will see also hygiene and cleaning in hotels and marinas will be much stricter. There will be probably certifications. The National Health organizations will probably give a stamp and give you a number of steps you need to do to have that stamp and certify that you have everything in a proper manner. We'll have the rules and regulations for boating, as I mentioned. So a lot of things will change for sure. I think we will all travel a lot less. We will not travel for a meeting of 2 hours in London and then come back because there's no need to do that. I think one thing we are trying to promote down here, and I think we will all do, is we will buy more things locally and help the companies around us. This is something we in Marina de Lagos are planning, is how can we around us find everything we need for our company. And this is because, as I was saying, we need to be united and solidary, and there is no point if we go through this crisis well and all the companies around us will struggle or bankrupt. We need to help everyone around us and make sure that we get out of this in a better shape.
I agree. It seems like there's a lot of unity, both internally on an internal level where the country is very united, but also on an international level where, okay, we need to work together to think of ways to help each other out during this crisis. And there's a lot of different, experts are talking to each other through open source communication. Countries are delivering, vaccinations or testing tools or equipment to different countries around the world. It's very inspiring to see.
And I think that's a big lesson for the future, because like in Europe, when Italy started to be hit by the virus, all the countries had helped them locking the country, helped them with medical stuff, with everything. Probably they were the only country being hit, and they would have a lot of help from everyone to go over it. In the end, as everyone was trying to in the beginning, everyone was dealing with their own problems on their country and not figuring it out that this was a global thing. The virus spread a lot. So I think the lesson for the future is, in situations like this, there are no borders. And this is not because of globalization. If you look into history and past situations like this, the disease is spread the same way, and we didn't have the number of flights or people traveling around the world. So it's really, there are no borders, and countries need to be a lot more open and a lot more cooperative between them. And I think the world was going the wrong way in that regard.
I agree, and I also see a lot of new opportunities that arise from the current situation where there's more awareness about. I heard somebody say that for the first time, some kids in China are able to see the sky because there was no pollution and nobody was driving around, so they could see the sky. And in certain areas, people were able to see fish in the water. It used to be very murky, and so what type of sustainable lessons can we learn from this? How can we use the current situation to promote a more greener, sustainable agenda?
Yeah, that's another subject where I think there will be a big change in the future. Because, like I was saying, if you travel for a meeting of 2 hours in London, you will think it's not only the time you lose and the money you're spending, is the impact on the planet of what you're doing. It makes no sense to do it. The same with what I was saying, shopping around you. Why am I buying wood or wherever from Canada if I can source it locally in Portugal, even if it's more expensive? I think we will all be more conscious about that. I think many more people will work from home. We will respect more the time that our workers need to be with their families. If they have their kid at home or whatever, we will immediately make sure they can work out of home. If it's possible, we have at the moment every staff we could is working from home, and it's not a problem. It's discipline. If they have a number of things to do, if they want to do it during the night or whatever, they will do it whenever they want. And I think people will be more happy. The impact on the planet is a lot less because they don't have to take the bus or drive their car or wherever. So I think those are things that will change a lot. Quality of life, people will think a lot more. They will take more decisions based on their personal well-being and also the impacts on the planet.
What type of technological solutions do you think need to be implemented in the industry? You mentioned the fact that right now you're working on communicating with the clients right now in the marina, and you're using you're looking for more personalized approach. How can technology leverage that need?
I think we will need, I normally say that the marina business is a very analogic business because there's not a lot of technology being developed in the marinas. It's strange. In terms of energy, we are normally on places with waves, currents, wind, and sun. So we have so many renewable sources of energy, and we are not 100% independent and using renewable energy. I think in the future it should be mandatory. It's not difficult for us to have solar panels to heat the water for the showers, photovoltaic energy, and some wind turbines to source and feed the marina. So in times like this, where I don't have any visitors in the marina, but if I wouldn't have any costs with electricity and at the same time use desalinated water, that I could do it as well with the solar energy, if there was the technology, then there wouldn't be a big problem for us. The costs we would have then would be labor hand and not much more. So I see technology developing on the side of the energy a lot more. I see the part on the relationship between the marina and the clients and how information is spread, because now we feel we need to inform them every day. So, and in the future, probably we will have platforms where at all times they have all the information. Not only the weather, which we all follow, but anything happening around them, events, takeaway, restaurants, bio agriculture that can bring the groceries to their boats. Things like that will develop a lot.
You mentioned how the industry, the marine industry, is kind of an analog industry, and in comparison to the travel industry or the aviation industry, it's very, I guess, it's more old-fashioned, less advanced. So, how can we promote technological and sustainable solutions to an industry that's relatively traditional?
I think it never developed that much because the business is not as big as the airline industries. So the volume, there was not the need for that in the beginning. But now I think it will spread much more. So also World Marina Conference was going to be very much focused on technology. We are even planning to have some technology talks, like a roundtable where we have specialists from other industries, like the car industry and things like that, coming, and the aviation industry as well, coming and telling us about their experience, so that we don't have to invent the wheel. We just need to use and adapt good examples from other industries. I feel that boating will change a lot. So there are not many electrical boats at the moment. It's not, you don't have the transformation you're having on the car industry, but it will come. So boats will become more and more green, and the marinas will have to adapt to that.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
So I had another question. It's kind of on an optimistic side. I saw that in Italy, the amount of people looking to rent and to purchase boats and yachts has risen. In Hong Kong, people are already back on yachts. In Canada, the orders for yachts this coming season supposedly is really, really high. And I also saw somebody post on LinkedIn saying that the amount of sales that he's making right now on his yachts has skyrocketed. So I think there's kind of an optimistic outlook for the industry where people are saying, once this is over, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going on vacation, I'm going on my boat. Do you agree?
Well, I agree partially. I think it's not going to be the first thing, because many of us have a lot of challenges on the business, on the companies. We've been away of the work for months or weeks. So everyone will have to deal with that first and then think of vacation. But at the same time, I agree that being locked down shows you that you have to enjoy life, and you have to take as much as you can from the time you are on this planet. And boating is the opposite of being locked down. It's freedom. You decide where you want to go. You don't have any roads to follow. You can take the route you want and do whatever you want. And in that regard, I think many are probably thinking about boating as their escape for a future where they can enjoy life in a very natural way, environmental friendly, healthy. So I agree that boating will be a very, very good industry in the near future.
I really hope so. Well, thank you very much, Martinho.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our Future of the Industry series. Be sure to follow us and subscribe to our channel to receive more great and relevant content from industry leaders of the maritime industry.